So first of all, thank you very much, Anthony, who's just popped in here. They just got him for a few moments before he and Hugo and Charlotte and Jane are going to be disappearing away. But not so bad, because tomorrow morning we're going to see them again. So we're going to see particularly Hugo, because he is going to be a star of the show tomorrow morning. He's going to tell us all about consciousness. And we have got Anthony again tomorrow, because he's going to be there. Very, he's going to be in the audience, kind of, not heckling, but he's going to be there, destroying the entire argument. And then we all want you to be there, because we're going to have, I understand that we had got a professor going to be talking about Bergson, but he unfortunately is not able to be with us. So I have to suddenly tell you all about Bergson and his influence on modernism. So that's a little interview. And then after that, we can have something very exciting, which is a philosopher's lunch, which is something that I read about reading one of Anthony's wonderful books. When he talks about Xenophon, who has the idea that you have a philosopher's lunch where you have just a sweet wine in a bowl. And you know, first of all, you have to have a clean floor and clean hands. So we're going to put a broom out. We've already got to have clean hands. And then we have our bowl of sweet wine. And then we have our loaves of golden bread. And we have our rich honey and our, what is something else?
Chickpeas, I think.
No, not chickpeas. You didn't say anything about chickpeas. You did not say, excuse me, you didn't say anything about chickpeas.
Oh, okay.
No, you said rich honey. Yeah. You said cheese.
Flower-scented wine.
Flower-scented wine. Flower-scented wine, honey, rich honey. It has to be rich honey. We've got it actually from the local bees. So what I've done, we've sourced honey from the localist closest bees to here. We've got lovely all Suffolk cheeses and Suffolk made golden loaves. We've got Anthony just for a short time, he's going to whisk off again in his train very shortly. Half-hour spot tomorrow morning. Now, also, we're going to thank Lol. Lol, this chap here. Lol, we're going to thank you. For our, look, this here on the tower here. This is Lol's work of art here.
Well, it's a collaboration with David's concept initially.
Yeah, look at this. So this is, well, do you want to say just what it is you're doing here, Lol?
It's just a 24-hour numeric clock, basically, just to, and it'll run all day. And the interesting, it'll be on all day, so it should appear as the day disappears. So,
okay.
Yeah.
So this is on all night. Hopefully
yeah, I wouldn't say you try to see
neighbour's
what's
going to be coming back
exactly
tonight. This is how the editor of the Sunday Times lives next door. So he's going to come back and say, "What is this clock doing here?"
Can you say sorry? It's permanent. Forevermore.
Tell him that his time is up.
Be there for all time.
Is it linked to anything? I mean, is it accurate?
GPS. Well, that's what I say. I wouldn't say set your watch by it, but
right.
we'll see. It's a quick time movie. It just started at roughly the right time. So, there you go. But give you a reasonable idea. You don't need to know the exact time in order, do you?
That's quite good.
Thank you also for supporting us, coming along, and I think it's an endlessly fascinating topic. I mean, really, can't even think of anything more interesting than Time and Timelessness. It's really,
It's endless.
how it's endless. How it all just seems so interesting, and yet we haven't even scratched the surface. Not even teeny weeny scratched the surface. We could have an ongoing.
There's 2 more days to go, so we'll see what we get to.
We'll see how you go.
Caroline, can I interrupt? And just very briefly, because your clock is ticking away and showing how our lives are shortening moment by moment as the numbers go, you will have been reading in the bath last night Herodotus and his wonderful story about Solon visiting King Croesus of Libya, who was the richest man of ancient times and thought he must therefore be the happiest man of ancient times. And he asked Solon whether he didn't agree that that was so. And Solon said, well, I don't know whether you're happy or not, but I do know that you should think about what would really make you happy. And you know why? Because of the brevity of a human life. That a human life is less than 1,000 months long. If you do the maths, 12 times, supposing you live to 80, 12 times 80 is 960 months. That's the limit, the usual limit of a human life. This is a rather depressing thought when you add to it the fact that unless you party a lot, you're asleep for 300 of them. And I say to my students, I tell them this story, and then I point out to them that by the time they've aged 20, you do the maths again, 12 times 20 is 240. That's a big slice of your 960 miles. Although, of course, they're busy partying a lot. So then I tell them the story about how once, back in the day when I was teaching in Oxford, I was on my way back to London one night. I thought to myself, I wonder how much time I've got left. And I thought, oh my God, I'm nearly dead. And I haven't read any Smollett. And when I got home, I said to my partner, I said, I haven't read any Smollett. This is desperately problematic. She said, it's okay, we've got Smollett here. You can read them in the bath tonight, which I did. And after about 4 pages, I thought, oh, hooray, I don't have to read this. The next morning, I said this to a colleague of mine who said, no, but Smollett is wonderful. You must read Smollett. And I thought, I'm nearly dead and I must read Smollett. The pressure. And I was just about to get very depressed about it when I remembered that I'm a professor of philosophy and that there is no such thing as time. There is only experience.
An experience.
And this is very, very, very
Now
easy
this is
to
going to
prove.
come up tomorrow. Okay.
Okay,
well, that's the next project.
But just there's a little heads up to it, because you can say to somebody, if you go to Paris for the weekend with somebody you really like, you're there forever. And when you come back again, it's gone in a flash.
Okay.
So this is about experience, okay? And you only have to think this: if you did exactly the same thing at exactly the same moment every single day of your life, ate the same cereal, read the same words on the same page, the same thing every day of your life, you would have lived just for one day.
Well, that's interesting thought, isn't it?
Now,
You must have lots of soggy books.
You
I
guys get it. Okay, but now, thank you very much for that, Anthony. That's it. But now, what we're going to have now, we're thinking more about time, because we're going to be thinking about John Cage, and we're going to be thinking particularly about John. John, you did a wonderful talk this afternoon, so thank you. Everyone's been saying your wonderful talk has been just completely brilliant. They all loved it this afternoon. So meanwhile, so what we're going to have here now is we're going to have As Slow as Possible. Now this is a John Cage work that is not played. Tell us all about this piece.
Okay. Work that he wrote in 1984, and as if you were at the talk this afternoon, I'll probably say things twice now, but please, don't listen if you've already heard it. So it's a piece. The title, he says it's As Slow as Possible, but actually the title page tells you that the title is ASLSP. He says it alludes to As Slow as Possible, but also to the first sentence of the last paragraph of Finnegan's Wake, which is soft morning city lisp, for what it's worth. Apparently he wanted to write a piece on slowness. And of course, what as slow as possible is a really, really difficult thing, because you have to think about whether it's as slow as possible for the player, for the instrument, for the listener, for the composer, or for time itself, in which case it doesn't exist, because you can always go slower. And as I said this afternoon, there's a performance going on of the organ version of this piece. This is the original piano version. He later made a rewrite of it for organ. It's going on in Halberstadt in Germany, and they've decided to make the performance last 631 years, which by no means is as slow as possible, because you can also do 632 years, and that's slower. So I think they completely missed the point on that one in some respects. But it's a piece that deals with how slow you can make a piece of music without necessarily making sure that all the events become completely isolated from each other and have absolutely no meaning in respect to each other. So for that, even though some people will find that in the speed that I'm going to play it, that they're waiting for the next note and have already completely forgotten the previous one, which means that every new event is the start of something new, and you then hope that the next note is at least you know, somewhere in such a region that you still know what you heard before. However, if that happens, Cage always said, you know, whatever happens is all wonderful. So listen to the piece, by incorporating not just what I'm playing, but everything you hear around you. Because, you know, in Cage's philosophy, music is all the sounds that you call music, whether it is something produced by a musician or something that happens to happen outside. If an ambulance goes past, you can incorporate that into the musical fabric of the piece. The noise of the projector, you can make that part of the piece, that's absolutely fine. If at some point you realise that you can't stand it anymore, feel free to go and do something else for a bit, and maybe if you think I'm ready for round 2 now, you can come back and see how you get on. It's a piece in 8 movements, even though there are 8 counted movements, but he instructs the performer to repeat one of them and leave another out. So if you pay very close attention, you have a really long memory, you might hear something you've heard before at some point in the piece, and well, you have to make some kind of decision on how slow you want to do the piece. I initially thought I'll do 45 minutes. That's a good length for the piece. And then I played it through this week, and I thought it's a bit fast. It feels as if too much is happening. So I slowed it down to almost an hour. So every single movement is 7 minutes. In those 7 minutes, sometimes relatively much is happening, sometimes almost nothing is happening. If nothing is happening, do whatever you like, think about whatever you want to think about, you know, listen for everything that happens around you, specifically those things that weren't meant to happen.
When did you decide which movement?
Oh, I actually decided that about an hour ago. So, and I didn't decide it. In Cage, according to Cage's own ways of composing, I got online and got myself a random number generator, and asked it to give me a number between 1 and 8, and that's the one that I'm not playing. And then give me another number between 1 and 8, and that's the one that I'll be repeating. And then I have to know when to repeat it. So I had another number and said, okay, that's when it's going before that number. So now I know.
Okay, so
That's my stool. And I would say just enjoy whatever happens.
Okay, let's see what happens. Thank you, John. So,
There we go.
We met before the recital. You done all the installation on the papers.
Chin chin.
it's good to see you. It's different.
See, everything comes full circle. Yes,